Welcome, my name is Brenda. My channel is Handwork Maniac. I'm trying to get caught up. I just made the May-nia wrap-up video telling you what happened during May for May-nia, but I haven't made a video since April 30th. So now it's June 21st. Sounds like we're gonna have a thunderstorm here in a minute. And I need to get caught up on everything that happened from April 30th until now, except for May-nia, which I already covered in the last video. I've been to StitchCon, I'm officially retired. It's fabulous, but one of my goals is to make videos more often. So we just need to get caught up. I've worked on 22 projects that were not May-nia pieces since April 30th. I had one finish, which the Seaside Tiny Town, which I showed you in the May-nia video. And I had 3 new starts at StitchCon, besides the 12 during May-nia, whatever that was. So I think first I'll go through the 22 pieces I've worked on since April 30th that were not May-nia pieces. Then I have some Stitchy Kindness to show you, some haul that I purchased that was not part, some supplies and patterns and stuff that I purchased that was not part of StitchCon, stitchy stuff. And then I have all the stuff that I got at StitchCon, which I've made a separate video for that, and I will put that at the very end. So I think we'll do it in that order. And as I come across new starts or stuff that I'm already using that I purchased, I will try and remember to tell you. Because I'm not very good about waiting until I show it to you before I start using it. And these whips, works in progress, are not in any particular order. This is Jim Shore Countryside Afghan. It's done on this special Afghan fabric that is called Fireside Afghan. It's woven with these window panes in it. It comes in a couple of different colorways. This one is the white ivory, is what this one called for, which is what I'm stitching it on. I'm using the called for DMC. It is like, I want to say it's like 20 count. Where does it say? It doesn't say, but it's quite a large weave, like 20 strands per inch. But we're stitching over 2 with 4 strands of floss. So that makes it like large stitches. Like if it was 20 count, that would be 10 stitches per inch. I pinned it up here to get it out of my way. Can we find the pin? No? Okay. Where is the edge of that pin? There we go. And I finished one block and I'm almost done with the second block. There are beads on this Afghan, so I would really like to bead it as I go. So I'll be trying a couple of different, it's going to be an experiment to see if I can figure out how to have it on some kind of a frame, but also bead as I go. don't know. I'll let you know how that goes. Oh my goodness. And wrangling the fabric is fun. This is my Saturday morning piece called Bless This House by Catherine Theron. It was a class piece through a guild, a sampler guild, several years ago. So it came as a kit and we took it as a class. And I finished the grass and started on the house. I'm so excited. The grass is Encroaching Goblin. And the strawberries are queen stitches. The animals are 1/1 petty point. This border is the Montenegrin stitch. And the outside border is a satin stitch. Okay. You'll see this project bag again at the end in the StitchCon purchases section, but it's by Creative Country Girl. I bought it at the Keepsakes Annex. And while I was at Keepsake sells 103 silks. It's 100/3 is by Verasa. It's the 100/3 just tells you the weight. Yes, Verasa tells you the weight of the silk, how thick or thin it is. And I have always wanted to stitch this. It's by Reflets de Soie, Entrelacs Bleu, or Blue Tracery. You can do it as one big piece, or you can fold it so it makes a biscornu. So this is the top and this is the bottom. I think I want to do that. But I've been wanting to stitch something in 103 silks. So this calls for Soie d'Alger silk, which is a little bit thicker silk. Also by Verasa. I purchased this cute little bag at the Keepsakes Annex to hold, because it only calls for 5 colors. So I have, oh, now it's raining, 5 spools of floss. And I purchased some fabric at StitchCon. It's Manni de Donna. Oh, where is it? Nope. Manni de Donna burnt sand in 40 count. And that's how much I have so far. And that was a new start at StitchCon. Beautiful piece of fabric. 1 strand of silk over 2 fabric threads. This is Rainbow Color Blocks by Vivsters. I started this last year at StitchCon, so I took it with me and worked on it this year as well, because it's not done yet. And That is not it. That's the extra fabric. It's on 46 count antique white linen, the called for DMC, 1 strand of floss over 1 fabric thread. And I made it, oh, almost. If I would just finish those last few blocks, I'd be at the halfway point. Oh, the colors are so gorgeous. So gorgeous together. I pulled Pandemic out at some point before StitchCon and worked on it. Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. I am stitching mine with on 36 count antique white linen, and I am using Sulky 12 weight, they're overdyed blendables in the color 4086 or Cactus. And then I'm using, oh, now it's hailing, 1095, this turquoise color to do all the animals, and this 1271 dark green color to do the outside border. And then I'm using some matching just DMC, solid DMC to do the back stitching. And it's getting so big. Look at that. Wow. I haven't had the whole thing out for a long time. I've been working down here in this section the last few times I pulled it out. Gonna hear some thunder. I can't see what you can see. Oh, this one is always fun to work on. I love it. This one is Scottish Door by Riolas. It is a kit. I'm using the kit fabric, which is an Aida, 14 count Aida, and the kit floss, which is an acrylic wool blend. And it's 2 strands of floss over 1 Aida square. I love the acrylic wool floss. Oh, it is the best coverage. It's a little bit fuzzy and it's just the best coverage. Fills in so nicely. Oh, runny nose. Okay, this is the stitch along that I'm doing with Colette, the highway stitcher. She's leading the stitch along. And here are our hashtags. October to October SAL, Birdhouse SAL, Fil de Nichoirs, Fil de Nichoirs SAL, which is the French name, oh my goodness, of the chart. It's by Jardin Prive. Translates to from birdhouse to birdhouse, from one birdhouse to another. I finished the June birdhouse, the beehive one. So I'm all caught up. It's on 46 count oatmeal by Fiber on a Whim, I believe. These are the ones that I did last fall. So I just have July, August, September left to go. And then it will be finished. The stitch along will finish in October. You know, but there's no rules on stitch alongs. If it takes you longer than October, that is fine. But Colette's going to start a new stitch along in October, and we're going to do Matter in Hand by Jeanette Douglas, just in case you were wondering what the next one was. Okay. This is Elsa Williams, Spring Creek Fever. My father made a gorgeous wooden frame that I'm making this to fit in on. So I chose I didn't use the kit fabric, but I am using the kit floss. I chose a fabric that would make it the right size to fit on the frame. And the fabric is 40 count All the Things by Mystic Fabrics. I'm cutting off the very bottom few rows of the chart so it will fit in the frame. It's just some abstract watery stuff down there. So the basting thread on here tells me where to stop stitching so it will fit in the frame. And I've divided it up into 12 sections. And I do a section a month so that it will for sure be done by the end of the year. I have not done the June section yet. It looks like a watercolor. I think it is so pretty. It does have blended threads in it, and since I'm doing one strand of floss over 2 on 40 count, for the blended threads I'm doing the 2 strands of floss because there's one of each color, and then I'm just doing a half cross. This one is Spring Moon by Plum Street Samplers. I'm going to do this entire moon series. I love every single one of them. Autumn's not out yet, I don't think, but I have the other 2. I worked over here on this bee scup and the grass and flowers down here. Worked a little bit on the house. It is the called for threads, but I changed the fabric to 46 count Peanut by Bee Stitch Me. 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. Okay, in the April 30th video, I told you that I had been to the StitchWest retreat in Ogden. And the guest designer was Primrose Cottage. Oh, and my t-shirt is a Primrose Cottage t-shirt. It's probably the same one I wore in the April 30th video, huh? And we got a retreat kit. Not that one, not that one, not that one. For this pattern. Honeybees and stitching, please. And we got 25 count even weave to stitch it on and all the floss. And then at the retreat, we had the chance to purchase these two patterns that kind of go with it. Honeybee quilts and honeybee basket. I finished the other two. I am now working on honeybee basket. And then we also got a freebie one day from them. A little freebie that looks like that. And I'm going to stitch that as well. So I'm not counting this project complete until all of that is done. And what did I do with? I hope it's right here. There it is. All right, here's the first one. That was the kit we got at the retreat, and I finished stitching that with the floss they gave us, the DMC floss and the fabric, 25 count, 2 over 2, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. And then I stitched the quilt one and finished that one. And now I'm working on the last one. I just told you the name of it. I can't remember what it was. They all use the same floss colors. That one has been lots of fun to work on. All right, the Teresa Kogut Stitch Along Hometown has released that many parts now. What are we on? Number 6. I have finished up through part 5. I have not finished part 6 yet. Mine is on 46 count Lakeside Vintage Buttercream. I'm using 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads with the called for DMC, except for this overdyed right here, which is Indian Summer. That one is very fun. That's part of her Patreon group. And she releases a new section on the 15th of every month. This one is Spring Montage. It's a Jan Lynn kit. The artwork is by Jan Stever. There's also a full coverage version that several of my stitchy friends are doing by Pain Free Crafts. This is the Pain Free Crafts version. This is the Jan Lynn kit version. I decided to do it, instead of using the kit fabric, I'm using a piece of fabric that has more of this color in the background. and it's a 36 count mocha that I overdyed with marigold Rit dye. But I am using the kit floss. See the top? Yeah. And since today is the first day of summer, it's the summer equinox, I will switch now to work on the summer montage. This is Portrait of Christ, also a Jan Lin kit. I'm using the kit floss, but I'm not using the kit fabric. It came with 14 count Aida, but I feel like the fabric shows through too much on the model. So I wanted it on a little bit smaller count. So mine is on 32 count French Vanilla by Live and Dye in LA. Live and Dye, D-Y-E, LA. And this is what I have so far. Started on the background. Beautiful. I believe the artwork is by Warner Salmon. This was a new start right after I got home from StitchCon. This Liz Mathews chart called Seaside came out on her Patreon while we were at StitchCon. And at StitchCon, they were also selling the other two that are similar to this. Oh, I left it upstairs. There's an autumn one that has pumpkins in the blue down here and a house above on two different colors of fabric and then stitched together. And then there's a spring one that's gorgeous that kind of has garden down here and a house above. So it kind of goes with those other two. So I bought, and I've been eyeing the other two forever. So I bought those charts at StitchCon because they were available in the annex. And then I joined her Patreon so I could get this chart and decided I needed to start this one right away. As soon as I got home and found all the fabrics. I kitted it up with the called for DMC, which I already had. And I'm going to use, this is not the called for fabric, this was just fabric that I had. I'm going to use 46 count Whimsical by Bee Stitch Me for the blue part, and 46 count Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim for the upper part, the house part. So this is the blue fabric that I'm going to use for the ocean part. And then this is my start on the Cream and Sugar. It's one, oh, it's upside down. It's one window of the house with the little flowers underneath. And then after you stitch both parts, you hook them, you stitch them together. Oh, the Fabulous House series Stitch Along by Cottage Garden Samplings. I'm using the called for colors on the called for color of fabric, Fox and Rabbit Prehistoric, but it calls for 40 count and I'm doing it on 46 count. And I decided that every time a new section came out, I would go ahead and start it. So I never got too far, even if I wasn't finished with the section before. And this one just showed up in my mail 2 days ago, 3 days ago, so I needed to start that. So now I have 3 houses that aren't finished yet. But I'm retired. I can catch up. And if I don't, it doesn't matter. So I'm working on, I'm almost done with the Hobbit house. I changed the front door to green because Bilbo's front door is green. I work a little bit on the tree house every day. That was the one that came out a couple weeks ago. And then I started the red barn down here. The big sunflower up in the corner of the red barn. But, oh, I love this series. I have loved every chart, every pattern. They all look so fabulous. I can't believe we're already on chart number 7, over halfway. So every day I start with an hour on this one because that's the newest one. And then if I have time, then I put an hour in on the second newest one. And then at least an hour, if I can, or more on this one that's the oldest one. It's close to a finish. So pretty. But man, that one is stretching my stitching ability to keep up. Which it doesn't matter if I keep up or not, but I so want to. All right, this was my retirement start that I started at the airport on the day after my last day of work. So my first day of retirement, I was at the airport with Colette, the highway stitcher, flying to StitchCon. So I had prepared it, gotten it all prepared, marked the middle, threaded a needle with the first color. I started in the middle right here and did this pillow. And started it in the airport because we were there plenty early for our plane. And then stitched on it a little bit on the plane. And then promptly fell asleep. But then I stitched on it a little more at StitchCon. And in the airport on our way home. And then on the plane, I worked on stitching summer. I'm trying to remember which, oh, I marked it. It goes this way. And that is what I have done so far. I love this piece. Love this piece. I'm using the kit floss, but I am not using the kit fabric. It came with, or maybe I am. Oh, it came with Ada. But I'm using, it came with Ada 16 count, and so I'm using a 32 count white even weave. So it'll be the same count. Two strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. Oh, I love that piece. And I think I may have enabled Jamie, the teeny weeny stitcher, to also stitch that one. This is Beachcomber by Carolyn Manning. I'm using the called for DMC on 25 count even weave, 1/1. Is that right side up? Yeah, that's right side up. This bag, this fabulous bag, was made by, oh gosh, Brass Button, the Brass Button shop on Etsy. Because she knew, I asked her specifically if she would make a BYU bag, but she's a U of U fan, which is our arch rival. So she said she couldn't look while she stitched it. So the lines are all wavy because we were teasing that she couldn't look at it while she was stitching because she doesn't like BYU. That one's so pretty. This one is a new start that I showed you last time. And there I go. This is the Living Ocean, and I bought a new bag for it from Lake Wind Studio on Etsy because it's the perfect bag for it. Look at that. Has a detachable handle. It's nice and big. Can't remember, it's either 14 by 14 or 15 by 15, something like that. Lake Wind Studio. Here's the back. And then they had these needle minders at StitchCon. So I needed one of those to also go with it. It's called the Living Ocean. It's a Dimensions, Charts, and Charms kit. It doesn't come with fabric or floss. It just comes with the chart and the charms. I'm doing mine on 16 count Aida, light blue Aida. I started in the middle, and this is what I have so far. Beautiful, beautiful piece. And I'm doing that with my sister-in-law, Debbie, because we're going on vacation to Alaska in August. Okay, this one I started at StitchCon 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. So I felt like I needed to pull it out and work on it. It is Electrical Light Parade Mandala by Atomic Tiki Pins on Etsy. It is about 2/3 stitching and 1/3 beads, or you can, she also has the floss conversion for the beads if you don't want to stitch it with beads and you just want to stitch it with all floss. I don't know if you can see all the beads on there. But I finished these 2 flags and started on the clock tower that will be all blue. Such a pretty piece. Mine is on chalkboard Aida that I got from an Etsy seller, but I can't remember her name. I will put it in the description box below because she was fabulous at getting it to me. Blackboard. It's called Blackboard Aida, 18 count. And then since I got back from StitchCon, I've been trying to do a little bit of full coverage every day. So I've been working on 4 Seasons, the mini version, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Jacek Yerka. It's looking so good. I'm doing this little bit and then down into this sky because the middle section is white, and I'm not going to stitch all those white stitches. I'm just leaving it the white of the fabric. .25 count even weave, 1 strand of floss over 1 fabric thread, full cross. The called for DMC. And then the last one is Teresa Kogut Halloween Sampler. I'm stitching this with a couple of friends. We're trying to finish it in 2 years. So we divided it up like this into 24 sections, and then the border is divided into 20 sections, so it will be done early. So 1 section of border and 1 section of the middle each month. Mine is on 46 count Dark Mountain by XJU Designs. And I finished the May section, but I have not finished the June section yet. So cute. Okay, I believe that's all of the projects, I hope. Okay, so then I have a little bit of things that I have purchased that I did not purchase at StitchCon, and some Stitchy Kindness. Nancy at Bountiful Heirlooms gifted me this beautiful chart, Needle and Pins Pin Keep, with the fabric to stitch it on. Thank you, Nancy. It's gorgeous. My dear friend Colette gave me this for my birthday. Makes me want to start it like right now. It's by Thistles, and it's called Hilltop Village in Spring. My daughter Catherine always takes home a piece for my birthday and Mother's Day because they're near each other, and works on it for me. Does the part that she thinks would help me along or that I'm not looking forward to. And this year she took home Letters B by Gigi. Gigi R. I'm stitching it with DMC variegated floss in the color 4515, blues and browns, or Paris. Sometimes it's called Paris. And I only had like this bee done and a little bit of the border, and look what she did. She went down the side for me, did more of the border down here so that I could just move around and stitch wherever I wanted. It looks so good. Makes me want to work on it like right now. So I'm 46 count antique white linen, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. Thank you, Catherine. Just beautiful. Okay, and then a couple of purchases. This is a Dimensions kit called Victorian Shops. The artwork is by Charles Wysocki. I got that on eBay. $19.82. And then I got this anchor kit called Country Canal, also on eBay. Anchor Essentials. And I love that one. Love that longboat. It's so pretty. Okay, I think that's everything except StitchCon. StitchCon was fabulous. It always is. I travel with my friend Colette, the highway stitcher. I have several friends in Cincinnati that I love to stitch with and also go to StitchCon. We always get together. I met so many amazing stitchers, and oh, the gorgeous stitching that they were all doing. And I met some Flosstubers that I hadn't met before, and got to meet up with some Flosstubers that I have met before, that I love, that I only see at StitchCon. It was just the most wonderful way to celebrate retirement. We didn't have any problems. It was just one of those trips where everything went well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Barbara at Keepsakes does such a fabulous job, and Pam and Steph and all the other people on the StitchCon team. There's so many of them that put in so many hours for that. Thank you so much. It was such a wonderful, wonderful event. And I will put in a video right here at the end of all of the things that I purchased at StitchCon and gifts that were given to me at StitchCon. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again in, I'm hoping, like 2 weeks. When we checked into StitchCon, we got this fabulous zipper top bag, tote bag, with all of these wonderful things in it. And then, of course, I shopped at Keepsakes and the Annex, their pop-up store at the retreat. I bought these wonderful charts, embellishment packs, this project bag from Creative Country Girl, a tablet holder and a little pouch bag from Nana Kay. She was selling in the Annex. She had some products in the Annex. Some fabric. This wonderful reusable Keepsakes bag. Oh, and some zipper charm and a needle minder, a couple needle minders and a sticker. And these are all the wonderful things that people gave me, all the wonderful gifts. Thank you so much. I appreciated every single one. Everyone was just so generous and so kind. And I felt very welcome. These were retirement gifts from some dear friends. Thank you so much.